You know when I'm in the car, shit's about to get real as a motherfucker. For you guys that haven't been subscribing and haven't been following, my name is Gabe Janace. I am an entrepreneur in the online info space. I primarily help bodybuilders, personal trainers turn their skill set into a business through organic social media. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about why I moved out of Miami, and maybe some takeaways that you guys can use for yourself. Not if you're going to move to Miami or wherever, but moving anywhere and making that type of decision from someone that has moved upwards of, I don't even know, 20, 30 times in my life. I believe that I have some experience on this. Now, a lot of this is going to be my opinion about Miami and the reasons why I decided to leave and move back to Pennsylvania. Now, you guys know that for you guys that haven't been following me, haven't been subscribed, for you guys that are new here, just give you kind of a little rundown on how I got to this point. So I'm sitting in a park right now in Pennsylvania in the middle of my day. I planned this out to come to this park to shoot this video. I got my fucking Starbucks. It's just hold on. You know, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that fucking Starbucks. Anyway, guys, I lived in Florida for probably 2.5 years. I moved from Allentown, Pennsylvania to Sarasota, Bradenton, Florida. And it was kind of dead, but all my family was out there. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to move out of Pennsylvania. I was in Allentown. It's not really the best area. And me and my girl and my 2 dogs, we left and moved to Florida. Now, my family's still out in Florida. All my family lives in Florida. I'm the only one in my entire family. My whole family used to live here. I'm the only one in my family that decided to move back. Now, you know, my brother's married. My sister's married and has 2 kids. My mom and my sister are, locked up together. They have their own spot. And so I do have more freedom. Like I can move around and I could go anywhere. I could fucking live anywhere. So why would I move out of Miami, of all places, and come back to Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania? And here's why. Okay? So I'd been visiting Miami, I visited Miami maybe 5, 6, 7 times before I moved there. And I started to go there a lot. And I was visiting Miami so much. I would go to Miami and then I would go to Orange County. Those were like the 2 places I would visit a lot because I had good friends down there that were, entrepreneurs. And I would always make a business trip out of it. I would always do a podcast. I'd maybe link up with a client or whatever it was, and just link up with my homies. My homie Cole, Sick Boy Cole, in California. I have some other homies out there, David Rao. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone important. Marshall Cruz. And then in Miami, my boys, Raphael, John Mark, and people, and just, I had buddies out there, So I'll go to Miami and I liked it. It's fun. I'm by the way, I'm not the type to never have a drink and never, have a smoke and never go out with my boys. Like I do that shit every now and again, probably once a month or once every other month. I'll go out and, we'll get a table and we'll get drinks and we'll fucking party. We'll have a good time. I'm not going to say any names, but there are definitely people that I partied with that you would never suspect, and that put a completely different image out online. But that's neither here nor there. I don't really give a fuck about that because they have to sleep. They have to look themselves in the mirror after being dishonest online. I don't. But yeah, I'm really, at the end of the day, guys, I'm a regular dude. Like I may be mildly successful in business, but I'm just a regular dude. Like I wake up, I take my dog for a walk, I drink my coffee. Sometimes I smoke a little fucking joint before I start my day. I go to the gym, I get my meals in. I have, my friends, and basically I'm working all day. I'm building my businesses, I'm doing content. I'm doing back-end training systems for my clients, just overall client work. And I love my life. I'm very grateful to be in this position. And I thought, I was in Sarasota. I was like, since I work remote, I'm just gonna, it was like coming down to the wire. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll just move to Miami. And I had a bunch of buddies out there that, all my friends are rich. Like all my friends make money. Like all my friends make at least $100,000 a month. I consider that pretty rich. And I would go down there and have a great time. But I would always tell myself, this is a vacation spot. This isn't somewhere that you would want to live. I come down to the wire. My lease is coming up in Bradenton, Sarasota. So I'm like, fuck, I think I'm going to go out to Miami. Right? And I found this spot that was really nice. 35th floor, marble floors, amazing view, all the amenities, right? And I fought for this place. And I really wanted it. And I told my realtor, she sent me a bunch of places. This was the first one she sent me. And I said, Nancy, I said, I really need this place. We need to make this happen. This is the one I want. This has all the specs that I want. We got to make this happen. And she was like, hey, it's, we can do it. It's just, we have to go get approved from the association and blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, I don't care what we have to do. Let's make it happen. So I had to pull a lot of strings. I had to literally send them a screenshot of my bank account. I had to send them, just because they didn't believe it was weird. Like, it was just weird. And lo and behold, they didn't approve my first application. Right? They were like, oh, well, we found some stuff on your background check. Listen to this. We found some stuff on your background check, and they didn't approve my fucking application. I'm like, what the fuck could they have found on my background check? Right? Never been arrested, never been in jail up until that point, which we'll talk about in a second. And they said, oh, well, you have speeding tickets on your, and this plays into this whole story, trust me. You have speeding tickets on your driving record, and we just don't want you to speed in the parking garage. Who the fuck? Okay, I get it, right? There's families, there's kids, they don't want people speeding in the parking garage. But to deny my application? Anyway, the landlords vouched for me. We doubled down and we say, hey, look, basically they were like, this is a legit guy. He's on social media, he makes good money. And my assumption was that they saw the way that I looked and they didn't like it, but the landlord pushed at them because they needed to get a tenant into their apartment. So we made it happen. So that was one thing that the whole time I was there, I was like, well, they prejudged me because of the way I look, because they're not used to seeing people like this. So now I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. So I get to Miami and I'm like, okay, well, this place is fucking sick, right? First few weeks, I'm like, I'm meeting up with my boy Raphael. You guys know Raphael Tats, homie, literally like my brother. I have so much love for him. And I'm going to downtown and I'm having a good time, man. And I'm building the businesses. Miami money glitch is in effect, full effect. My income's going up. And everything's great. But I am noticing little things when I go out, right? And I'm noticing, I believe that I'm somewhat of a spiritually inclined individual. Now, I don't mean like religiously educated, but I do know some things about religions and all that, right? Specifically Christianity, the Bible, but I'm not an expert. But I believe that I'm spiritually inclined, which means that like I have feelings sometimes that I feel like there's dark energy in places, there's dark energy in people, and there are certain situations where that you don't want to be in. Now, this could mean, I don't mean like I got a gun pulled out on me or I was getting shot or anything scary, super scary like that, but just certain cues when I would be around people. And you guys have to understand, like, I am a new entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since 2022. Like I started my LLC in 2022. I'm like just starting this entrepreneur shit. Just did my first $100,000 a month, like in fucking January, right? So like transparently, I'm not like this fucking like rich fucking, like, yeah, I technically am. I make great money, you know, but I built myself up to be that way. You guys know 3 years ago, by the way, if you're in the middle of this video, you can scroll down on my YouTube channel, scroll down, you'll see like blue stitching on the back of my seat. It's because I drove a Toyota Corolla. You guys fuck with this new tattoo. Look at this. This is fucking sick. Look at her boob. Paradise. I also got this one too. New pieces. Anyway, I'm not trying to get distracted here, but you guys will see I had blue stitching in the back of my headrest because I drove a Toyota Corolla, and I would wear my North Face puffer coat. Go back and watch those videos. I was shooting selfie videos just like this in the dead of fucking winter back in Pennsylvania, same area, actually 20 minutes down the road. And by the way, guys, just so you know, like, this isn't, you know, the way I got to this point was I built my fitness coaching business, and then I made the executive decision to step away from fitness coaching and just help bodybuilders and personal trainers build their businesses. By the way, if you guys are interested, you can message me on Instagram. Message me the word car talk, one word, all caps. If you want to get on my elite program, if you're a bodybuilder or a personal trainer and you want to build your business and you've seen the results that I've gotten for other people, go to my Instagram. It's in the link below. DM me the word car talk if you want to get on the team, and we'll talk and we'll see if you're qualified. But anyway, so, you know, I'm in Miami and I'm around all these people, and I have a dinner with this person and I have a lunch with this person, and I'm meeting girls, and it's cool, right? And I'm being exposed to the lifestyle, right, of Miami. And I'm meeting a lot of affluent individuals, people that I've been following for years, you know, some guys that I know are making $1 million a month, right? But I noticed something. And I started to feel a little, it was like a light bulb moment went off. And here's what I mean. And this is what led me back here. There is like maybe 2 or 3 people that I met in that 6-month period that I would still consider myself friends with, good friends with, maybe 2. And I would hang around my boy Raphael a lot. And I would be at his tattoo shop. And I would see what he had created for not just tattoo artists, other talented tattoo artists, but what he had done for his friends. And there was also a podcast that I sat on with Joe Potenza. You guys go watch that podcast, which, by the way, that's going to be on a different channel. It's neither here nor there. But I did a podcast with a buddy of mine, Joe Potenza and Parker Patterson, both 7-figure guys. And Joe said, he's like, you know what? He's like, I think it's really fucked up, this whole, like, when you get successful, you abandon your friends. And, like, you're not going to be friends with someone anymore because they don't make money. So that happened, right? So all of these things I'm hearing in my head, I'm hearing and I'm seeing, right, with Raphael at the tattoo shop, and I have my boy Pablo, who's my good friend, again, my brother, right? I consider him my brother. I have the chills when I say that because I just have so much love for him. And I would miss him. I would miss my friend Pablo because and again, I didn't really hang out with my boy Raphael too much. It was really like once a month, right? And every time I was with them, I would be like, I miss my boys. I miss my homies. Guys, I'm 29 years old, right? I'm almost 30 years old, right? So it wasn't like a, damn, I just want to go home and chill with the boys, you know? It was that I knew that I had the ability to create something very similar to what Raphael did in a different way. But it was almost like that light bulb moment went off. I also, again, this is all connecting. I just want to give you guys how this all happened in my head. I went up to California and I went and I trained with Brad Dunn, Reliant Fitness, one of the biggest fitness influencers in the game. Again, $1 million a year as a coach. Amazing fucking guy, amazing father and husband. And I was the first person to be able to work out with him in his private gym. I would go to Ocean County. I would go up to Laguna. I would go see my boy Cole. Again, another brother of mine. Love him. So much love for him. And I would see his mom and dad, and I would get excited because they liked me being there. Because they knew what a good friend I was to Cole. And I would be around his friends. And I'm like, it's so weird how, like, I go place to place to place to place, and I get immersed in other people's friends and family, and I love it, and I love it. I'm so appreciative of it, and I cherish those moments. But the whole time, I'm thinking about my homies, Pablo, my boy Nick, some other people, and just my friends in general, even if they don't live in my hometown, just people that I know that I want to be part of my thing. And I started to think, I'm like, I went to Texas to see my girl, right? And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I would come back to Florida. This is even before I moved to Miami. I would like travel, right? I'd come back to Florida, and I wouldn't feel like I was home. Now, a lot of people are thinking, well, like, dude, you're fucking 30 years old. Like, grow the fuck up. You're not always going to feel home, right? But this is not what I meant. I meant that when I said I didn't feel home, I meant like I felt far away from myself. That was a scary feeling. Something else that happened that I do want to talk about is I got arrested and I went to jail. You know, and now a lot of people are going to say, like, you know, when I tell them this story, it's like, well, you got caught up with the Miami madness, and if you weren't going out, you wouldn't have done that. And like you should have known, like, you go to Miami, you're going to get into parties, you're going to get arrested if things are going to happen, like, and like, that's why you moved back. Like, you should have known. No, that's not why. There's little parts of that, but that's not the entire reason why, right? And I'm a grown-ass man. Like, I know, and I can control myself, right? I know when enough is enough. But for example, there was this night where me and, you know, and select a few other people, we got to an altercation, and I ended up getting arrested. And, you know, it was a physical altercation. You know, charges were very mild, misdemeanor charge, you know. Luckily, no one was hurt too bad. And, yeah, arrested, cuffed up, back in the cop car for like 3.5 hours with one of my homies. And that sucked. That was uncomfortable, you know. And then like, we got arrested at probably like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. And then I was in jail till 8 p.m. But the whole time I was in there, that was the first time I got arrested, first time I went to jail. The whole time I was in there, I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm thinking, this is only going to make me mentally stronger, which it did. And it wasn't like I was in there forever. I was in there from like morning to you know, night. But the whole time I'm in there, we don't know when we're going to get out. So that was like the worst part. And just imagine, right? Like, you get booked, they take your pictures, you have to change like into like their fucking garment. And you're just there with a bunch of other scumbags. And I was there, and I'm like, you know, and not to knock any of these guys, but I'm like, these guys are dirtbags. This is like the lowest of the low. And here I am spending my fucking Sunday with them. And I realized that I'm no better than them in that moment. Because I got arrested and because I'm in jail with them too. Scummiest people, like lowest of the low. All up together. The entire time, this reason why this was a monumental moment for me was because this changed my relationship with my dog. I know people are like, how did this, right? Completely changed my relationship with my dog. I don't want to go too off on a tangent here, but again, this all plays into why I decided to move back in my plans going forward. I put my dog in the crate at 10 p.m. that night, and everybody knows me, like, they know that I hate leaving my dog home alone. I hate it. Partially because he doesn't like it. But I'm not the type of dog owner where I can just forget about my dog, like, and just have a good time. I'm always thinking about him. And the whole time I'm in there, I'm like, I got arrested, right? So I'm freaking out. I'm out the whole night, and I know my dog's in his crate, and I'm just the whole time. He's one of the only things that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about him, and then I'm thinking about all my friends, like, that are, and I'm also thinking about my clients. It's like, guys, I'm running a business while this is all happening. This is hilarious. I get out of jail that night. I was supposed to do a group call. I messaged the group. I'm like, hey guys, just got arrested. I got to do a fight. Straight up. That's what the fuck happened. Luckily, I had a friend that was able to let Charlie out of his crate and tend to him, that day, which I'm so thankful for her. You know who you are if you're watching this video. And dude, when I saw Charlie, I bawled my eyes out. I did. I cried because he's the most important thing to me in this world. He's right back here too, by the way. He's the most important thing to me in this world. And I made a promise to him that I would never ever do that to him again. I would never leave him overnight alone in his crate. And I know it's like, dude, it's a dog, like, chill, blah, blah, blah. I take certain things very serious, and I believe that there are these moments in life that define you. I truly believe that there are these moments, and that was one of them. After that, and I drive a Mercedes, guys, and I took this, it's a coupe convertible too. It's funny, but it's funny because I took a road trip in it in the fucking middle of the winter. I was like, I'm going down to Pennsylvania. Right? I needed to get the fuck out of Miami. So I took a road trip. I just drove straight down to Pennsylvania. I visited my father who lives in DC, visited another homie of mine who lives in DC, and visited my grandparents. And all of these things started to build up. And I was like, it is so crazy because it's like, I can't explain it, guys. It's so hard to explain. But there becomes this feeling where you feel like God is talking to you. And the way that I feel God talks to me is he creates friction in my life, and he fogs. I don't want to say he fogs my lenses, but more so these things will happen in my life that force me to go to him to ask for clarity. And I swear it was like, I'm not the type of guy, by the way, I'm not the type of man that is going to sit here and act like I never cry. I think that's like fucking stupid as fuck, dude. Like this is why it's so stupid to act like you don't cry as a man. Because like every man cries, but then when you lie about it, then all the other men that are, I'm not saying being a crybaby bitch, sit around, don't do anything about your life and don't take action. That's not what the fuck I'm saying at all, ever. I will never say that. All I'm saying is that it's a normal thing to when tears come out of your eyes, right? It's pretty normal. And a lot of times for me, tears, they come as a result of letting go. And I believe that the weight of negativity becomes stripped away through tears. That's just something that I've noticed about my life, right? Where I will ask God or for you guys, whoever, right? The universe, or you just start having a thought. You're like, I need answers. I need like the next step. And a lot of times it would just come as tears, because it's one of those feelings where I know you guys will know what I mean, where it's like, you're like, fuck, I know what I have to do. Right? You're like, fuck. Right? Oh, fuck, I know what I have to do. It's going to be so hard. I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to, right? But I know that I need to take the next step. I had this feeling when I left my last job. You guys would not even be watching this video if I never realized what was happening in that moment. You see, that I believe that in life, God will tell us when it's time. And you may be thinking, well, like, how will I know? How will I know when God is talking to me and God is telling me to go a different path? How will I know, Gabe? And it's pretty simple. You will, because God works in mysterious ways, but he also knows us as people. He knows how we work as humans. You will feel physical resistance in your life. It may begin as spiritual, but it will manifest as physical resistance. I'll give you an example. You know when it's time to leave a relationship. All of a sudden, the kisses don't feel the same. You ain't reaching over to her anymore. You ain't going in for those hugs no more. You know when it's time to leave that job. Ain't clocking out 2 minutes fucking late anymore, right? I'm not gonna sweep. I'm not gonna file that extra report. I'm not gonna make that extra phone call. It's not that you feel lazy. See, you may think, well, do I lack work ethic? It's no. It's that, do I lack follow through with this relationship? No. The time has come to move on. Now, this isn't always black and white. This isn't always like, well, what do you mean if I just don't feel like it? No. You will know. Because when you think that you're operating on your time, you're actually operating on God's time. Now, I know this is like, I don't want to get too off topic here, but this is always on topic, right? It's like, why did I leave Miami? And what can you learn from this? This is the whole point. The reason that I left Miami was because I was being called somewhere else. I remember when I came back to Miami, I got off the flight and my dog's still at the sitters. And I get home, guys, with all my fucking followers, with all my money, with all my cool tattoos, with all whatever the fuck you want to fucking pile on that you think is my thing is better than yours, with all that. I drop my bag, I drop my suitcase, I sit on my couch and I cry. And I'm confused. I'm just like, I don't even really feel like, I don't feel like there's a reason besides like everything that's going on, right? Going through some things with my family, my girl, my business, and then also knowing that I was going to have to move. And that's like, guys, I've moved plenty of times, but it was the spiritual calling, right? It was the spirit saying, walk this way now. That's not for you anymore. You thought it was, but now you're going to go over here because I said so. It's funny that you had your own plans, but here's what is actually going to happen. So what can you take away from this video? Am I saying to not move to Miami? No. Am I saying that it's bad to want different things for yourself than you're doing right now? And no. All I'm saying is this, and hear me out, right? Before you go, before you move. And I think you should move. And so for some people, it's what it will take for you to get to this realization. But all I'm saying is this. Before you move, and before you go looking outside of yourself in Miami or LA or Texas or wherever the fuck, wherever you think that you need to be, just look inside yourself first and ask yourself, is this really me? Is this me making this decision? Is this decision fully aligned with the person that I want to be? Because if it's not, luckily for you, which I believe wholeheartedly, your path will be realigned anyway. Like, you guys know when something is not for you, and you know when something is for you, and you know when something is for you, and then at a certain point, no longer is. This doesn't mean it's an easy decision. It just means to listen to that inner voice. So now, plans going forward. What is my plan? Why did I come back here? Well, look, like I said, I went to Miami. I needed to party and see all that and all that, right? Only to realize that this is where I need to build. I ran away from my hometown because I was scared. I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want people to know I was here. I didn't want to put myself out there. Look how opposite it is now. When I left Pennsylvania, I was actually still doing pretty well. That was like when I first got this car, and I was, a few months before that, I was hitting my first like $50,000 months. But when I left, I was a different person. And I've grown so much. And no matter what I've been through in this past 6 months or a year or whatever in building my business, the most important part is this, is that I trusted my intuition because I trusted that God was guiding me down the right path. You can't you can't lean on your own understanding because you just don't understand everything. Like, you're just a man. And that's what I realized when I was crying on the couch that night. It was almost like a bittersweet weep. I was like, I'm just a man, I can't do this alone. And I'm sorry, right? I hadn't been considering God in any of my decisions. I'd just been working. I'd just been moving. I've just been running, And I never thought that I would come back here. But now that I've seen what I've seen, success leaves clues, right? Ed Milet always says that. Success leaves clues. But I always think it's success leaves clues, comma, for your success. Which means, think about it. If success leaves clues in people's lives, you're like, oh, interesting. Why do you think these specific things are happening in your life? Good or bad? Think about it for a second. It's all a clue. When I went up to California and I saw Brad Dunn and I saw what he had built for his family in the private gym, it was a clue. I go, oh, okay. When I went to Raphael's shop and I see what he's built with all his friends there, right? And all the artists there, all the talented artists, I go, oh, okay, interesting. All right, success is leaving clues. I sit down with Eric Spofford on the podcast. If Eric wasn't wearing a fucking $250,000 Richard Mille on his wrist and a fucking VVS diamond chain with a lion on it, and was just dressed casual, and you saw him like at the fucking gas station, you would think he's a regular dude. And I go, oh, success leaves clues, right? Because in my world, I go, well, you're either born, when I was first, when I was a young kid, I go, oh, you're either born rich or like you're going to get rich and you're going to have to like wear a suit and like that's it. But success was leaving clues, specific clues in my life for my success. I always think like, why was I so drawn to Rich Piana, right? Shout out Rich Piana, right? There's a reason I have this tattoo. But success leaves clues. There's a reason why I don't look like fucking Iman Gadzhi. No offense to anyone that is an Iman Gadzhi lookalike. But there's a reason why I want to emulate the men and the individuals that I wanted to be like. Because it was my success. Okay? So all in all, after watching this video, it was like less about Miami and more about finding yourself. But here's the most important part. Make your own decisions. Always trust your intuition. Make sure that the messages are actually coming from the proper source, aka God. And then bust your ass. And you're going to be okay. And now all that's left to do is what? I've already hired 2 of my good friends and brought them onto the team. Me and Pablo have now conjoined efforts on the podcast, the No Victim podcast, even more. We were just shooting the podcast. We're building a full fucking studio. It's going to be the podcast for entrepreneurs. The podcast for entrepreneurs. And now we're building that. And the plan is to now have our own headquarters. Do you see? It's all coming together now, right? Oh, I need the No Victim headquarters. I need the offices. My office, Pablo's office, Nick's office, all the other high-level individuals, their offices. We need the gym inside the warehouse. We need a podcast studio. We need a photo studio for No Victim Apparel so we can shoot content for that. We need a fulfillment line, right? We need shelves being stocked. We need a picking and packing line. Do you guys see it all coming together now? Success was leaving clues. I was working in warehouse jobs in my early 20s, and now I'm going to have my own warehouse. And I'm going to employ all my fucking friends. There is no playbook for this. Who you think anyone's fucking telling me to do this shit? No, people said the opposite. They tried to talk me out of it. I got laughed at for years. And a lot of it was behind the scenes. A lot of it was when people think I didn't notice, right? I play stupid most of the time just so I can see people's true fucking colors. And all of it was for a reason. All of it. So think about this, bro, and I'll end this here. Everything that you're going through in life right now, it's setting you up. Everything. The good and the bad. How the fuck do I know that? It's because it's the same way for everyone else. The people that are fucking losers, they let shit happen to them and they don't fucking do anything about it. The people that are winners, they take the fucking hits and they always fucking learn something from it. So the truth is that you probably have all been through similar shit. It's just that half the people, or a very, very, very small half of that half, actually learn from their mistakes and actually execute. And the rest of the motherfuckers just let life kick their fucking ass. So which one are you, bro? Which one are you? Because it's a decision. Has nothing to fucking do with your genetics. Has nothing to do with your financial situation. Has nothing to do with your connections. Has nothing to do with your fucking followers. Or if you have a fucking throat tattoo, right? Whatever excuse you can make. Has nothing to do with any of that. Has everything to do with your ability to make the right fucking decisions for you. Will it always be the right decision right then and there? No. Can you learn from it? Yes. Can anyone be successful? Yes. You just have to make the right decisions. Ask yourself, is this thing that's happening to me right now setting me up? Right? Or do I feel like it's a roadblock? And that literally will be the deciding factor in you winning or losing. No Victim.